You are now in tune to the most intriguing podcast in the universe. Hosted by the scientist Leon Marshall. Are you ready for Marshall's Melanin Podcast?
Listen, I am fully energized.
Class is in session.
You're gonna learn today.
I found it really enlightening, like educational as well. There were a lot of things I didn't know, especially with melanin and like all the benefits of melanin. So I found that very interesting.
I love it. There's so much information, you know, it's entertaining and it's just facts after facts after facts.
This is the podcast where science is made simple and learning is fun. Welcome to Marshall's Melanin Podcast. Now, here's your host, the scientist Leon Marshall.
Yo, Marshall!
Yes, family. My name is Leon Marshall, and you're tuned into Marshall's Melanin Podcast. Big up all the families tuned in right now. Family, let's test the levels. Let me know if you can hear me clearly. Put some ones in the chat. Put some ones in the chat and let me know where you're tuned in from, family. Let's see the levels. Large up Luton in the building. Big up Hertfordshire. London. The sound is nice and clear. Large up all the family that's tuned in. We're going to be talking about cultural ownership tonight. Is it even important? Is it really important? Who owns the culture? And as always, later on, when I open up the forum, I want you guys to ask your questions, make your comments, or just say what's on your melanin mind. I don't mind what you say. Just be a part of tonight's class. Now I've created this podcast so we can all truly understand melanin once and for all. What it is and how it works. We must change the narrative around melanin if we're ever going to understand it. And changing the narrative starts now.
I've been to quite a few and I've heard Leon talk at other events, and as usual you do come away learning something.
Listen, I am fully energized.
That is brilliant. It's just so informative, mind-blowing. It's something that, you know, it's just put me on a journey of knowing thyself. It's just fantastic.
Yes, big up Bristol. Big up Ghana in the building. I see St. Lucia's in the building as well. Large up the family. So yeah, we're talking about cultural ownership tonight, family. And I've had this on my mind for quite a few years. This is one of the reasons why I put together the event, The Hidden Science of Reggae. But I just saw it happening over the years, this shift of ownership of our own culture. Yeah. And it's kind of come to a head this year. Who saw this video? This is by a lady called Elaine the Pain. And she's on social media. She's quite big on social media. And listen to what she says about a very popular reggae festival in the UK. It's called Reggae Land.
Okay, let's use our brains here because a lot of people are getting emotional when it's really about economics. And I understand that people are pissed about ticket prices, but there's more to it than this. Let's talk about Reggae Land. And before anyone starts crying, this is not an attack on an events company. Relax. This is about power dynamics. And Reggae Land is the perfect case study. Reggae is Black Caribbean culture. It's not a vibe. It's not a summer aesthetic. It came from struggle, resistance, politics, and faith. Now fast forward to how reggae is looked at today. It's huge fields, big crowds, tickets flying, and money moving. And yet the people who created the culture are known as the entertainers and not the owners. That's the point. You see, everyone loves reggae, everyone profits from reggae. But when it comes to decision making, land, infrastructure, and licenses, suddenly we're being told, but black culture's for everyone. Let me be crystal clear. This isn't about who attends the festival, it's about who owns it. So tell me this, who owns the brand? Who sets the prices? Who gets to decide what artists headline? Who decides what's authentic? And who walks away with generational wealth when the gates close? But if reggae can sell out fields year after year, that tells us that black people aren't bad at business. What we're bad at is being let in. So when people say black culture is just a free market, what they really mean is we're happy to sell it, but not share control. And that's not a control issue. That's a power issue. And until we stop arguing about feelings and asking for ownership, we'll still continue to dance in their fields while they buy up all the land. So people, that's your beat and teach. Are we satisfied with being the soundtrack, or do we want to own the stage? What's your next move?
Very interesting. So when this came out, obviously she's very popular on social media anyway, so she was going to get a lot of comments, but there was a lot of comments underneath this post, as you would imagine. But what do you think people were saying underneath this post? What do you reckon people were saying when they watched this post? What do you reckon the comments were saying? Yeah. Well, I went into the comments, I was reading some of the comments, and a lot of them were saying things like this. So this guy was saying, okay, you asked the question, who kind of owns the brand? So this person said, it's JBM Music, and they're a Manchester-based event brand known for organizing large-scale events like Reggae Land, and it's owned and directed by George Meehan and Brian Murphy. Meehan and Murphy. Well, where are those last names from? Anyone good with last names? What area? Where are they from? Meehan and Murphy. Irish, yeah. So they're Irish. And then it says they founded the company to organize events in Manchester and have grown it into a major national promoter. They're not Jamaican, not Caribbean, they're not even black. But then this person says, but are they wrong for filling a space we aren't willing to fill ourselves? Very interesting. Yeah. And a lot of the comments were kind of saying that. Yeah, I don't fault them. They're doing their business. They're filling a space we can't fill. Well, yeah. If you know your history, you know that it's untrue. If you know your history, saying that we can't fill these spaces. Yeah. So once I read this, I've done a little bit of research and found that these two are the brothers, the Meehan and Murphy. Yeah. George Meehan, this is him here. And interestingly enough, you look at pictures of him online. And again, we now know he's Irish, but he runs arguably the most successful reggae event in the UK. So here's him on stage with the big Jamaican flag behind him. And here's another picture of him with a Jamaican t-shirt on. Interesting. But yeah, a lot of the comments were kind of saying, well, I don't fault them. They're providing a service, they're putting on an event that we all love, and you know, it's for our culture and blah blah blah. But again, you gotta, with these things, you kind of need to know the history. Yeah. So when it comes onto these festivals, these huge reggae festivals, understand that they got that idea from us. These wireless festivals, these reggae land festivals. There's all these other types of reggae events and festivals that are popping up in the UK now. They got that from us back in the day. Who remembers? This is some of us showing our age now, but who remembers when we used to go to places like Brockwell Park and there used to be all dayers? They used to call them all dayers. They didn't even used to call them festivals. It was an all dayer, and you'd had various artists on stage, and it was in the park, and more time it was free or very, very cheap to get in. It was an all dayer, and the vibes at this place, the vibes at Brockwell Park or Burgess Park or whatever park you was at was lively. You look at the vibes at Wireless Festival or Reggae Land, everyone's got their phones out, hardly anyone's dancing and all that. Who remembers those times? We're going way back into the early 90s now. Who remembers these times going back to Brockwell Park? Check out the vibes on this one. This was when General Levy had the hit record, you know, Incredible. Yeah? Check out the vibes at this.
Wicked, wicked, jungle is massive. Wicked, wicked, jungle is massive. Wicked, everything. We're bigger. All original jungle is massive. Original dancehall jungle is there. Generally, they're alongside the enemy. The world is in trouble. How we tell them? I am the into the original world. Let's see the genre with the dummy. Into the original.
Pull up. Look at the vibes. And by the way, does anyone know how many people were at this event? Like Brockwell Park, and big up some of the other people reminiscing about Peckham Rye and all them places there. Yeah. So we used to do all days, and generally speaking, it was for the community. So they were free or very, 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 very cheap to get in. Yeah. So there's been an uproar with Reggae Land with the tickets being through the roof and all this sort of thing. And another thing about, well, when we used to do it, these all dayers in the park and that, one, it was either free for the community or very, very cheap to get in. Two, it was local artists. So they weren't bringing in, hardly ever bringing in artists from overseas. It was just local artists like General Levy. Yeah. But look at the vibes. Try to tell me Wireless Festival or Reggae Land or any of them can match these vibes.
All the original jungle is cool. What do we care about today, you know? So we say.
Absolute madness, yeah. And we used to do this all throughout the summers. Look at the artists interacting with the crowd. You get what I'm saying? The artists interacting with the crowd, but there were hundreds of thousands of people. So I think Reggae Land is the biggest in the UK right now. Reggae Land can pull in about 100,000. You guys look back. I think it was this one or the clip I showed before. It was from Brockwell Park in 1994. It was actually a anti-racism festival or anti-racism all dayer. You guys look it up online and see how many people came to Brockwell Park in 94. 100,000 people, fam. In other words, we were doing this way before Reggae Land and Wireless Festival and all these people. These people came and saw the amount of people that were coming to our little all-dayers, And they were thinking, raw, some of these events are free. Do you get what I'm saying? These events are free or they're very, very cheap to get in. And as people who are not from the culture do, they look at the other side of it. How can we make money from this? Raw, this looks amazing. So how can we make money from it and make sure that we control it? Yeah. And I actually went on to our good old friend ChatGPT, on AI, and I asked AI, what do you know about all dayers? I wanted to see if AI would break down all dayers back in the day. Yeah? So this is what AI said. So AI was like, what were urban all dayers? And it says, in the 90s, these events were daytime dances, often 1 p.m. to 7 p.m., held in community centers, leisure centers, school halls, town halls, targeted at under 18s or 14 to 21s. This was a way of keeping us off, like when we were younger, off the streets. Yeah. And obviously they had to stop this, but it was very beneficial for the community. During the day, the young people are out in these community centers or out in a park and just enjoying themselves, enjoying their own culture, enjoying being around one another. Yeah. So it says targeted at under 18s or 14 to 21. Music was jungle, garage, bashment, R&B, hip hop, especially common in London, Birmingham, Manchester. They were affordable, alcohol free, a major social space for Black British youth culture. And why they declined? Why do you think they declined? This thing that was so successful, and it was like a cultural ecosystem. So everyone kind of benefited from it. People kind of had jobs. Obviously, there were stores, people still were selling their food and that sort of stuff. So everyone kind of made money. It weren't just, the big conglomerates that were making money, like the promoters and that sort of stuff. Because sometimes a lot of these events were free. But why did they decline then? Policing and risk classification. So police and local authorities increasingly classified urban events as high risk. Concerns cited gang presence, youth violence, knife crime fears, large gatherings of young Black men, often explicitly noted in risk assessments. This led to heavy police conditions, event cancellations, requirement for large security teams. And then they go on to say, now I mentioned this before in one of the other podcasts, Form 696. They started to create these forms that were low-key racist because you had to, when you were filling out this form as a promoter, you had to state what the music was going to be. You had to state the ethnicity of the crowd that was going to be at your event. And you had to state the artists that were performing. Yeah. And then it says many venues refused bookings for urban events, whether it was bashment, grime, garage nights, whatever, and youth-focused Black audiences. Critics argued it amounted to racialized risk profiling. And then venue economics changed from 2000 onwards, insurance, higher premiums for youth events, even higher for quote-unquote urban music, venue priorities, preferences for corporate hires, weddings, alcohol-led nightlife. So now the alcohol-free youth events became financially unattractive. Yeah. And some of the people in Elaine LePain's comments were saying these things, the Black promoters, they kind of got outpriced and things started to change and that sort of stuff. And even with the local authority, safeguarding pressures after several high-profile youth incidents, councils required age verification systems, enhanced safeguarding, all this sort of stuff that other people from other cultures wouldn't need to go through if they were putting on an event. So when people turn around and say, oh, well, yeah, those reggae land promoters, you know what I mean? Don't hate on them. Look how successful they are, blah, blah, blah. They're successful because then they don't have to go through the stuff that the Black promoters need to go through. Yeah. This is not by accident. This is by design. And then they talked about moral panic around specific genres, especially like jungle, garage, grime, and basically Black youth music. Whatever the Black youth were listening to, they looked at it as, dangerous. And then things started to close. Not just the places where we used to put on all dayers, which were sometimes community centers and that sort of stuff. Youth clubs started to close. Leisure centers that we used to hang out at started to close. Then all of a sudden, guess what? Parks started to close. They stopped doing the all days in the parks and then said, no, man, for you to come in this park now, guess what? You got to pay. And that's how they started to do the wireless festivals and all these other things where they're like, rah, let's just charge people to come into the park and listen to music and listen to their favorite artists. So there was a key structural shift. In the 90s, it was more about community hall hire, local promoter, low cost entry, youth access, money circulated locally. So even if it was a local event or community event, the money was circulating in the community. Now it's corporate venues, the festival conglomerates, platform distribution, premium pricing, and profit extracted upwards. Yeah. So who profits now? Well, the promoters, obviously, alcohol companies. Alcohol is a big thing with these festivals now. Global sponsors, they make their money from sponsorship as well. Ticketing corporations, even the streaming platforms and that sort of stuff. Notice that the community, though, the people who actually create this product called whatever you want to call it, whether it's reggae or garage or R&B or whatever, we're creating a product. But notice that we're not the ones who are benefiting from it. Yeah. And these people, they literally study us. I always say when it comes to melanin, they study melanin more than we do. So they literally know us more than we know ourselves. When we were just out there having fun, they were thinking cha-ching. That's all they see. Certain people, when they look at melanated folks, they think cha-ching. Right, look at them just having fun in the park. Look how many 100,000 people in the park. What if we was to charge them? Do you get what I'm saying? And bring in overseas artists. Do you get what I'm saying? So we're not even developing the local artists. Bring in overseas artists who probably have a bigger pull as well. That way we can charge more. You see what I'm saying? So even the local people like General Levy, who was getting booked at all of these all-dayers, now all of a sudden his bookings go down. But because they know certain people can bring the vibe and they want their event to seem more authentic, guess who they draw for Reggae Land? Guess who they've drawn for recently to promote Reggae Land? Check out this advert.
Welcome. Why, hey. Chronics, left and right. Just so it does come. Left and right.
Where's the driver?
Look, James is off sick today, so we've arranged for another driver to take you to the Milton Keynes Bowl. It should be with you any minute.
Yo, Colonel Levy, it is an honor to meet you, bruv. It's General Levy. Oh, you got promoted. Respect. Incredible. What happened to them, brother? Yeah? Cha, it's the original incredible general in the king. How you doing that? You forgetting it's the general, not no corporate thing.
Alright, whatever. Don't get your dreads in a knot. We got to bounce. But Aya's got the perfect track.
What's that, fam?
Wicked, jungle is massive. Wicked, jungle is massive. Wicked, jungle is massive. Wicked, original. Mad the whole of them, I spin them like a windmill. You talk for them, go to them and we got the skill. Dance can nice and let's when they fund the bill. And the girls see you with vices like them things get for deal. Pass out with them, pass out with them, with the cold, with them, with the chill. I go in a
By the way, Danny, as we watch this, just think to yourself, who else could do this with someone else's culture? This Ali G foolishness. Who else could take someone else's culture, make an absolute mockery of them, a mockery character, and then make money from someone else's culture, mocking them like an absolute full mockery? Just put it in the chat what like a black person, a melanated person could do that to someone else's culture and get away with it. And they're still drawing for this full Ali G, brother.
Booyaka, when the general a pass. Booyaka, MD run the dance.
Booyaka, booyaka, we don't take man no talk. Booyaka, booyaka. Incredible.
Hey yo, is this the bowl?
Yeah.
Same.
Now I want you to notice something, yeah? Because here's the thing about culture. You gotta understand. Culture helps to move behavior along. It's like a code of conduct when you follow a certain culture. So when someone kind of imitates your culture or takes over your culture, now all of a sudden they can present a certain behavior which people just naturally associate with your culture. Did you see what happened when he wound down his window? Yeah? You saw what happened when he wound down his window.
Hey yo, is this the bowl?
Yeah.
Same.
Now watch when he gets out of the car.
You see, bro? Told you. Get to the bowl, you got to smoke a bowl.
And look at the sponsorship in the background. Don't miss that. These people are making money from this advert. But look at the sponsorship and look at what they're trying to associate with the culture. This is absolute mockery. Do you understand?
You see, bro? Told you. Get to the bowl, you got to smoke a bowl.
For fuck's sake, we're in the wrong blood clot place, fam. What you done? You took us around the fucking whole world for you. You lose the blood clot whole concept, fam. Why you never Google it, man? What's wrong with you? What a blood clot?
So, should I book us a lane or?
Oh, man, book who? Book your gal.
All right, so that's Reggae Land. So that was last year's one, and it was headlined by Chronixx. It had Capleton, Mavado, Dexter Daps, YG Marley, all of Spragga Benz. Lineup looked crazy. Kabaka Pyramid was there. Marcia Griffiths, Christopher Martin. Look at the lineup. The lineup bad, yeah. Lineup kind of mad, yeah. But notice it's all artists from overseas. So again, when we used to do this, we used to make sure that there was a bit of local artist development. But they know that these people, they have, big followings, and they'll just put them all on the same bill. They don't have to jump through certain health risk hoops that we have to jump through. So yeah, they'll be able to get the sponsorship, get the amount of money to book these types of people. And there was people in the comments, again, going back to that comment, oh, do you blame them? They fill the gap that we can't fill. We can't fill, bro. You go back to those all-dayers, we were bringing tens of thousands of people. Do you get what I'm saying? And we didn't have half the budget that these people have, or the avenues, the platforms that these people use to promote their events. You got to know your history. And with that Ali G thing, a lot of people, they'll just take it as comedy. That's another thing about our culture. And when I say our culture, I tend to, you guys can correct me, but I tend to see it more with Caribbean culture than any other quote unquote black culture, where they take the absolute piss. Yeah, they take the absolute mickey with Caribbean culture. And then if I'm being honest and being more specific, when I say Caribbean culture, I mean Jamaican culture. Look at this.
So you're from where?
Jamaica. Kingston, Jamaica.
Not Queens?
No, not Queens. I get that a lot though.
So which one of your parents are Jamaican?
My dad.
Oh, okay.
He has 27 kids.
Oh, wow. Your dad, he's like my color?
No.
Oh, okay.
Have you never met a white Jamaican?
No, I haven't. You're like rare. You're like a leprechaun.
Ah, there's like at least like 7 of us.
What's a meal that you make?
Well, I can make you some jerk chicken, rice and peas, fried plantain, oxtail.
Rasta pasta?
That's actually
That's
cultural appropriation. That's not an authentic dish.
Oh, that's cultural appropriation.
My culture is not your cuisine.
All right, so just making an absolute mockery. Again, put it in the chat, family, where Where can we as melanated folks do this to someone who's non-melanated? Take their culture. We already know the Reggae Land, the people behind Reggae Land, they're from Ireland, they're Irish. Could I, as a promoter, put on an event called Ireland? You get me? They've got Reggae Land. What if I put on an event called Ireland? You get me? Created a character that mocked Irish culture. Could I do that, fam? It's comedy. It's fun. Just for shits and giggles. This is fun. Don't take it too seriously. I'm just doing it as a comedic thing. Do you know how many people mock Jamaican culture on TikTok and Instagram? People like this fool. Do you understand? And then in the comments, you see bare people laughing, including black people. Oh my gosh, it's so funny. It's not funny, fam. It's not. It all starts off as a joke, and then you start to see the power shift when it comes onto what we truly own and what we can truly benefit from. Tell me what's stronger as an export than our culture. And again, if I'm being specific, Caribbean culture, reggae culture, Jamaican culture, as an export around the world. Like Elaine LePain said, everyone loves reggae, yeah? And so they should. It's beautiful to love that type of music. But shouldn't the people who create it, shouldn't they benefit from it? And I mean, not just benefit from getting paid to come and perform, but actually own their own music, actually own these events. No. And then people will turn around and say, well, you guys just are not as good as business as the other people. You can't fault them because, you know, you black folks, you're not good at business, not realizing there's a hidden hand when it comes to business. And a lot of the times they sabotage us when we're in business. A good example of this is what happened with regards to the reason why there's so many Chinese shops and Chinese restaurants in black neighborhoods. Check this out.
Why are there so many Chinese food restaurants in black neighborhoods? It's due to a very special type of seasoning called
racism. It's what's for dinner.
Back in 1882, the U.S. passed the Chinese Exclusion Act, banning most Chinese immigrants from entering the country. But because the government loves money, it left a loophole. If you were a laborer, no entry. But if you owned a business, you could qualify as a merchant, which meant you could stay and you could bring your family over. Then in 1915, a court ruled that owning a restaurant counted as a business. And just like that, opening a Chinese restaurant became a one-way ticket into America. Then came a new problem in the 1960s. Basically, banks were racist as fudge. If Chinese folks wanted to open up restaurants in white neighborhoods, the answer was often no.
But because the positionality of Asian Americans is weaponized to oppress black people, Asian Americans were being given loans to open businesses in black communities, even though black people were not able to receive loans to open businesses in their own communities.
Happy Black History Month, y'all.
Now, this brother here, when he done his video now, he was talking about the same thing that Elaine LePain was talking about. But he was saying that in order for it to be a cultural event, it has to benefit the culture. So listen to what he was saying.
Cultural extraction versus cultural circulation. An example recently cited in discussions of extraction is Reggae Land. The structure follows a largely linear trajectory. Producer, performer, Patreon, profit, retained by the producers. The financial return appears concentrated at the top with limited downstream impact for the communities and culture the event is named after. Public-facing information suggests minimal diversity within the core team with one person of color in the social media department, little evidence of sustained reggae artist development, and limited transparency around community reinvestment, charitable initiatives, or hurricane relief efforts. In this sense, the festival mode resembles a transactional exchange rather than an embedded cultural ecosystem, and many have questioned the cultural authenticity with the announcement of Burna Boy as a Friday headline. In contrast, City Splash offers an example of what I describe as cultural circulation. Its model demonstrates collaboration with local vendors via Black Eats London, a visible, diverse team structure, a reggae artist development initiative, and community centre spaces such as House of Dread. They also have greater transparency in charitable work and relief efforts. Here the flow looks different. Producer, performer, Patreon, profit, and then that circulates within the people. In this model, value does not simply accumulate, it reverberates. The festival operates not merely as an event, but as a cultural hub. It is not extractive, it's regenerative. It behaves as a living cultural ecosystem. For more thoughts, visit the caption.
All right, so how do you think about that one? So he's saying with City Splash, it's more of a black owned, and they look at it more like a cultural hub, a cultural ecosystem. So it's not just about extraction of resources, extraction of wealth. They feed back into the community and that sort of stuff. But here's the thing when it comes onto culture, and you guys just, I know, what do you think when I say what is culture, yeah? Put in the chat what you think culture is. And it doesn't have to be like a perfect definition, just what comes to mind when I say what is culture? What comes to mind? Customs, okay. Anyone else? What comes to mind when I say culture? Culture is the things we do. It's what you do. Yeah, it's what you do, how you do it, and why. It can be your food. Yeah. Way of life. Yeah. Traditions can come under culture. Dress code can come under culture. All things we create and produce can come under culture. Okay, all things we create and produce. All right. Now, just using just those examples, yeah? Again, when I'm teaching science, I like to use analogies. So, and someone just said culture is not static. Yes. So just think about these answers, family, especially those last couple. Customs, code, like a code of conduct, things we create and produce, and culture is not static. Yes, I agree. So I like to use analogies and I like to show visuals as well. So this is my analogy of what culture is. This is my analogy of what culture is and why it's so important. Culture is like a conveyor belt. So yeah, it's not static. It's always moving. The culture is like a conveyor belt. Now, conveyor belts are used to move products along. Yeah. So when you're going to pay for something, you'll put your stuff on a conveyor belt. You know, if you're at the supermarket, they'll swipe it and then they put it on the conveyor belt. The conveyor belt is used to move things along. Move things along. Now, remember, this is an analogy, so try and apply it and put two and two together as I'm going through this analogy. Yeah. Culture is like the conveyor belt, and the products that are on the conveyor belt should benefit the culture in some way, shape, or form. Yeah. So just think about it. If we own the culture, in other words, we own this conveyor belt, we're going to put things on top of the conveyor belt that are going to benefit us. Yeah. So what sort of things would we put on top of the conveyor belt? Well, anything that can benefit us. Dr. Amos Wilson, the famous doctor, black psychologist, he said that your culture is not static, it's always moving, but he said that your culture should help you solve problems. So whatever the problems of the culture are, when you use your culture, you should be using your culture to help you solve problems. That means that these products that are on the conveyor belt, they should be helping us solve our own problems. So for example, on the conveyor belt could be education. Yeah, so we can use our culture to educate ourselves. We can use our culture to educate our children. Yeah. What else can we put on the conveyor belt? People said food. Yeah, we can use food on the conveyor belt. It has to be our food. In other words, our culture, because it has to help the people who create and own the culture being the conveyor belt. I hope this is not going over people's heads. Yeah. So whatever products go on top of this, yeah, it's supposed to benefit the culture. Now, generally speaking, if we go back, big up, someone in the chat said language. Yeah. Or life lessons. So these are the products that it could be language on top of the conveyor belt. Yeah. And think about it. If it's language, it's getting delivered. So these products are getting delivered. So you're delivering your own language to your culture, your people. You're delivering your dress code or your code of conduct in general. Your code of conduct. Yeah, your values. You are delivering them. It gets delivered through the conveyor belt, which is the culture. Yeah. I hope people are starting to get this. Yes, of course. How could I miss that one out? Music, our music. You put that on the conveyor belt and it gets delivered Yeah. And then that music should rise us up. If we're talking, especially if you're talking about reggae, everyone loved Bob Marley. Why? Because his reggae music used to uplift us. And when I say us, I mean everyone on this planet. Bob Marley's reggae music used to uplift because of the things that he was saying. He was preaching love, he was preaching unity. It uplifts the people. So think about what that message is being delivered, how it's being delivered. It's being delivered on the conveyor belt. Yeah. But here's the question, family. Yep, and people say in our history as well. Yeah, we deliver our history. And because the conveyor belt is so powerful, it's not static, we're constantly delivering it. So we can't just deliver it once. It has to be constant. Our historical experiences, yeah, we have to constantly be delivering things. Now, if you understand this analogy, family, what happens then if we don't own our own culture? And again, this is an analogy. The culture is the conveyor belt. You guys put 2 and 2 together and start putting it in the chat. If we don't own the conveyor belt, what could happen? If we don't own the conveyor belt, what could happen? So people are saying, yeah, we could get culture vultures. Culture is broken. We become extra vulnerable. All right. Other products will be put on it. Thank you so much. Other products. Stick to the analogy. If we don't own this conveyor belt, family, the conveyor belt is the culture, and someone else owns the conveyor belt, they can put other products on it. Yeah? They can put other products on our conveyor belt, and those products could harm us. Guess what they could put on the conveyor belt? Alcohol. Are they not now selling alcohol at these festivals when before alcohol weren't part of the thing? It was a young people thing, so we weren't even allowed alcohol. Now, because they own the conveyor belt, now all of a sudden, guess what a product is on the conveyor belt? Alcohol. I just showed you that full video of Ali G. What were they promoting in that video? Let's see if everyone had their eyes wide open. What were they promoting in that video visually? KFC, fam, junk food. Yeah. Weed. If we don't own our own conveyor belt, they'll put foolishness on our conveyor belt. So now they put KFC on the conveyor belt. Now they put McDonald's on the conveyor belt. Yeah. What else could they put on the conveyor belt if we don't own the conveyor belt? Yep, GMO foods they can start putting, or just foods that are not cultural. Yeah. Someone said ignorance. Yeah, so miseducation can now go on the conveyor belt. Yeah. Miseducation can now go on the drugs. Someone talked about drugs. Yeah. Medication can now go on the conveyor belt. Did they not try and use the conveyor belt during COVID? Remember, the conveyor belt is our culture. Did they not try and use black people to push the vaccine on us? Now you can bloody put vaccines on the conveyor belt. I hope people are understanding how important it is to own the conveyor belt. The conveyor belt is your culture, family. Please. I'm hoping this is not going over anyone's head. Yeah. And gangs, yeah. Gang culture. Oh my gosh, good one. You know, Top Boy, which was a huge hit in the UK, not just in the UK, worldwide. Top Boy was a huge hit. Do you know who the director or who created that TV series, Top Boy? Because a lot of people think that's our culture. It's our culture. No, we don't own that conveyor belt. See, a lot of people think it weren't Ashley Walters who created Top Boy. It was a white man from Ireland. It was a white man from Ireland, yeah, who created Top Boy. Yeah. So now he's got the conveyor belt. He puts Ashley Waters, Kano on the conveyor belt, put a little bit of grime music on the conveyor belt. Now there's full black people saying, yeah, Top Boy is our culture. Yeah, Top Boy, let's all watch Top Boy. That's our culture. Not realizing who owns the conveyor belt. Yeah? You guys look this stuff up and think, see if I'm lying. An Irish man. And look at that. You see the link. You see the pattern. Again, could I, as a black promoter, come out with Ireland? Everyone book their tickets for Ireland. And I'm going to play Irish folk music. and book Irish people who don't even live in Ireland, yeah, and get them to perform at Ireland. And when you see pictures of me online, I'm wearing Irish t-shirts and I've got the Irish flag behind me with my shades on. Could I do that, family? Can I do that? Or can they only do that with our culture? Can I do that? Can someone else do that with other people's culture? You don't seem to understand the importance of owning this conveyor belt. Yeah? You don't seem to understand the importance of owning it, because if you don't own the conveyor belt, they can put anything on top of the conveyor belt and it will be feeding us. And they do it all the time. Yeah? That's the reason why when we sell our conveyor belt by whatever means, you know, we were pushed out or we were forced out, now all of a sudden, what's on top of the conveyor belt changes. A classic example of that, family, where what's on top of the conveyor belt changed, is this example. Who remembers Choice FM? 96.9. Yeah? This is one of the owners. I've forgotten his name. I think it's Neil or something. But he's one of the original owners of Choice FM, which was a black licensed radio station. Yeah? Guess what they were putting on the conveyor belt? They were playing reggae music, soul music, R&B, soca, even gospel music on the Sundays. Who used to listen to Choice FM on the Sundays and that sort of stuff? It was all black music, yeah? Because we owned the conveyor belt. We owned the culture, yeah? Now, all of a sudden, like someone said in the chat, it's now owned by, is it Capital Radio? Yeah. So they changed Choice FM into Capital Extra, yeah? They changed Choice FM into Capital Extra and changed what was on the conveyor belt, yeah? So I went on Google. Again, Google is kind of powered by AI now. So I typed into Google, what happened to Choice FM 96.9? What happened to Choice FM? And this is what it says. Choice FM 96.9, London's pioneering 24-hour black music station, was rebranded to Capital Extra by its owners, Global Radio, on the 7th of October 2013. Following its 2004 acquisition, the station shifted from its community-focused Afro-Caribbean roots, which was reggae, soul, soca, to a national, quote-unquote, urban dance format, causing significant backlash and the end of an era for British black music radio. Yeah? And then they show their sources from The Guardian, that sort of stuff. Yeah, black DJs were laying the foundation for a lot of these. Choice FM was just one of them, but there was a lot of pirate radio stations that were really community focused. Do you get me? Putting on community events. And it was like a community ecosystem. Again, we owned the conveyor belt. So we were putting what we wanted to put on the conveyor belt. And what we were putting on the conveyor belt benefited the community. Yeah? What we were putting on the conveyor belt benefited the community. And then once the conveyor belt got taken over, now Global Radio, they started to put different things on the conveyor belt. Knowing that the conveyor belt is the power, because the conveyor belt doesn't stop. Again, that's your culture. Your culture is powerful. It moves things forward. Your culture can shift consciousness. Your culture can shift behavior. Yeah, dress code, music, yeah, styles of music. It's all based on this conveyor belt that keeps on moving. Yeah. But if you don't own it, the people who do, they'll change what's on the conveyor belt. And whatever they're changing, trust me, it's not going to benefit the people who, created the culture, the foundation, the black people, the melanated folks. Yeah. So all these people that think, there's nothing wrong with, Top Boy having a white producer or a white creator, or Reggae Land being owned by these white folks. One, you don't understand history, and two, you don't understand culture. You don't understand culture, you don't understand history if you truly believe that other people who are not part of the culture can take over and extract wealth from it, and the only thing they're giving you back is an artist that you're overpaying to see, and they probably don't even put on a great performance anyway. Yeah. So we need to start understanding the importance of culture, family, and the importance of us owning our culture. And that's the reason why, family, you see, when it comes to what we do on the grassroots, this is the reason why we need the community to support us. When we're doing our things on the grassroots, we know exactly what the community needs, and we know what sort of products to deliver. Just take me, for example, with the Hidden Science Academy. Guess what I'm putting on the conveyor belt? I put education on the conveyor belt. Yeah. I've put courses on the conveyor belt. I've created the Black Holistic Health course that I've put on the conveyor belt. I put my book, The Hidden Science of Melanin, on the conveyor belt. Now I'm doing events. I've got the Hidden Science of Reggae on the conveyor belt. This is specifically to benefit the culture. Yeah. And on that note, I'm just going to open it up to the family, see what you guys have to say. So by all means, you guys can ask your questions, make your comments, or just tell me what's on your melanin mind. Let me get out of this. Boom. All right. So raise your hand. Sis Abimbola, you can unmute your mic, sis.
Oh, good evening. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can. Greetings, sis.
Okay.
How are you?
Yeah. I'm fine. How are you?
I'm very well, sis.
Yeah, very interesting subject today about cultural appropriation in terms of they always have thought this, even because that's why you get whitewashing. That's why it's okay if they own us, but we can't own them. Sort of attitude. And like you said about Top Boy, which was Irish, etc., and that ridiculous advert, presuming that every black person eats KFC or whatever.
Ridiculous,
or
absolutely
McDonald's.
ridiculous.
And if we were to do that to them, there'd soon be some sort of problem, but they can do it's always the case. They can do it to us. And we've got to get out of this situation. Number one, stop buying goods in these Asian shops. I'm not talking about butchers. I'm talking about these all that stuff they are selling is carcinogenic.
Ooh.
End of story. It's not even. No, it is. It's true. I don't touch any of that stuff. I only go to black owned. You can get it online. You don't even have to walk to the shops. Just order it online. It will come to your door. Stop buying the crap they sell in those shops, because it's not for you. Notice, if it was for you, they'd have employees which were melanated, and they don't. And so, if you are stupid enough to still keep going to these shops, it's your problem if you get whatever these products can cause.
Yeah.
And people don't seem to realize they're so docile, they will not think about it, and they just do it and think it's okay. And cultural appropriation, we didn't put this stuff in our hair when our parents were children. Do you get my point? And so don't tell me, and you're telling me what shea butter, etc., is not good for us, and what they are prescribing for us to use is better. You must be joking. And also, in terms of when you talk about melanin, when you're talking about your book and everything, you don't need like some sunscreen, and but you're sort of somebody who's got the scientific knowledge who's telling you this, and you're still not listening. And that's the trouble with us. We don't listen. We do not listen. And even though people will tell you time and time and time again, till the cows come home, they'll still think they're in a better place and they're doing the right thing, and you're doing incorrect things.
Terrible.
So the cultural appropriation has to stop. Basically, the only way Reggae Land is going to stop is if people do not attend.
Yeah, but on your points, sis, you said that we should stop going into the Asian shops and buying their products. That's damn near impossible. Do you get what I'm saying? Because you remember what happened? I think was it the shop in Peckham or the shop in Brixton?
Yeah, I remember. I walked past there when that was happening. They had placards
they thump
outside.
up the black woman. Yeah.
What did they do? Sorry.
They beat up the black woman.
No, I didn't know that.
Yeah, they either strangled her or they thump her in her face or something. Put it in the chat if you remember the story I'm talking about. Yeah. Okay. And remember, there were people outside protesting, and they were saying, do not go in this shop. They were literally shut the shop down. They were standing outside of the shop, and they said, black people do not go in this shop.
Yeah.
And they had to close the shop for one day because of what happened. You know, the next day they had queues of black women queuing up for their products. Yeah.
Well, I mean, it just shows you how docile people are.
This is what I'm saying.
I'm
So
not
it's the
saying
same with
that
Reggae
everybody.
Land. Reggae Land people. When I say we, obviously not me and hopefully
No, I'm not going to go to that.
here,
But the point is, you've got to decide what is better for you. And most of those products are carcinogenic because the person that owns. I mean, I live in North London, and there's a lot of Asian shops around here. I don't go into any of them. I mean, when you see Muslim women in wig shops, how can you be selling your goods? Think about it. They're wearing hijabs. So what the hell? Anyway, but you know, I could go on, but it stops other people talking. But you know, okay.
Thank you, sis. One love. All right, Paul. Unmute your mic, bro.
Hey, good evening, Brother Leon. Good evening,
Brother Paul. How are you, bro?
Yeah, I'm fine, man. I'm fine here down in Basingstoke, Hampshire. Thank you very much. And well done to you for putting on this show and what you're doing with Hidden Science.
Thank you.
And it's a very interesting topic that yourself and your listeners are contributing to this evening.
Yeah.
Because culture, as you know, Brother Leon, is close to my heart. Yeah. And what breaks my heart really is seeing us allow the conveyor belt to be taken over other cultures.
Yeah.
No other race or culture will do this.
Right.
I remember listening to a really good educator about 40 years ago, called Tony Brown in the United States.
Mm-hmm.
And he said the black culture, and he said this in America as well, we're the only race that pushes money outside our community.
Mm-hmm.
We do not spend enough in our community.
Mm-hmm.
And no other race will do this. You mentioned the example of the Irish, a black person promoting Irish music. They would not get away with it.
Get away with it.
We would not get away with it. And if we don't practice our culture, we die. We die. It's as simple as that. And we are committing suicide by coming away from our culture. And what's successfully done by mainly Europeans, but other cultures as well, is that they have turned our Black African-centered culture and spirituality inside out so much that we as Black people do not recognize it. And that's a big issue. So we've got some real re-education to do. You mentioned Amos Wilson, you mentioned Neely Fuller, Francis Welsing, those psychologists, Black-centered, they're here to educate us. Many of us don't listen to them or read their books or their works because we are so preoccupied with the mental slave mind, as Marcus Garvey and Bob Marley said. You know what I mean? We're not emancipating ourselves or emancipating ourselves from mental slavery, because we are responsible for freeing our mind. I mean, I went to the Reggae Land event I think it was 2 years ago. I went there, and it was a marvelous time.
They have some amazing artists. I'm not gonna lie, they have some amazing lineups.
They have. But the thing about it, what I'm saying, Brother Leon, is that everything we do, literally everything, the European is in our pocket. Everything we do. We set the foundation. The Black man, and especially the Black woman, set the foundation. And everywhere we do, whether it's in the Caribbean, I've seen it in Jamaica, I've seen it in Africa. We've been to Africa, Brother Leon. We've seen it. And the colonized mind is killing the Black man and the Black woman. That we are, I think a previous caller laid it down clean when she said we are very docile when it comes to when it comes as a community. The majority of us as Black people are docile when it comes to supporting our own, and we just support the Asian shops big time. Big time. I mean, I'm born and raised in the UK, and ever since I've been growing up, we've been supporting every other race apart from our own.
It's crazy.
Crazy. We are completely mad. We are completely mad. We're in a lost cause, and we don't see culture as the basis of economic activity.
That's
and the longer
exactly right.
We don't see it, Brother Leon. The vast majority of us don't see it. Maybe 10% do, but 90%, a good 90% don't. We're totally lost. And our culture is to solve our problems.
Yes.
And you, Brother Leon Marshall, you said that our culture is our truth. We don't know the truth about ourselves, so we do not practice our culture. That's the biggest problem.
Thank you, brother. Thank you. I couldn't have said it any better myself. All right, Esmin, you can unmute your mic, sis.
Okay. Hi, Leon. Hi,
How you doing,
everyone.
sis? You okay?
I'm fine, thank you. Yeah, I'm okay. Very interesting topic, and I just wanted to sort of bring to the forefront something I noticed. I was staying in Decameron in Montego Bay a couple of years ago, and walking in the lobby, I saw a poster, them advertising patois lessons. And I thought it was strange because I was with a couple of friends. They didn't see anything wrong with it.
I know. Oh no.
I thought, now the Cameron is a Latin American company. It's not Jamaican owned. So
Right.
any money that they're charging people for those lessons are going straight out of the country. Also, patois, to me, the origins of it, when you study it, where we came from all different parts of Africa with different languages, and it was all rolled up into one to create patois. And patois was a dialect that saved our ancestors during uprisings. It was such a special way of communicating that they didn't know. And I think it brings to the fore what I see happening now. Anything that is in the community, yeah, I see somebody put everybody wants to be black. No, I think that is not just the case. We just want to have something that other people look at and we run and give it to them. Why? Yeah. And I think because of this, this handing over aspects of our culture and having, the Brits Ali G'd up. When you go to some of these workplaces, it can get really disrespectful, especially as a woman. Yeah, because you have to be fighting off all kinds of stereotypes. You're aggressive, you're loose, and all this kind of stuff. And sometimes it gets really, it wears you down.
Yeah.
And that's what I wanted to bring. But last of all, I have a question here.
Yes.
You are doing all these, bringing all this to our attention, and we are learning a lot. And I'm sure there are people noticing. Have you been approached yet to sort of dilute the whatever you're doing to, be more inclusive and diverse?
Yeah, good
That is the
question,
worry
sis.
for
Like,
me.
what tends to happen behind the scenes, I don't tend to talk about, but I know some of you know that they've attacked me. That I haven't been approached nicely. They've attacked me, and they've been attacking me since 2020. So people know that they took down my website. They were deleting videos literally off of my server, family. They were going into my website. The only people that have access to my website is myself and my web developer. They were going into my website and deleting videos off of my server. That's when I knew this thing was serious, because this was around 2020 when I was talking about how black people shouldn't be taking the vaccine and all that sort of stuff. They were going onto my server and deleting videos. So they've visited me, trust me. They know about me. You get me? So yeah, comes with the territory. It's just one of them things that comes with the territory.
Oh, thank you. Well, thank you for that, and have a good evening. Very
you,
interesting topic. Thank you.
Thank you, sis. All right, let's get Adrian in the building. Adrian, you there? You can unmute your mic, bro.
Yeah, yes, I am. Thank you for having me again. Yeah, just a few things in a nutshell. I just want to put, with regards to what Mrs. Johnson was saying about the Asian shops.
Yes.
I boycotted them over 20 years ago. One, there was no incentive, like 3 for the price of 2.
Right.
Right, on their items.
Right.
Number 2, they were very haughty, like show off and insulting. Now, for me personally, when somebody insults you, anybody, believe them as well as feel it. You feel it more. Yeah. And I said to myself, I don't need you. I don't need your goodies. I went somewhere else, an alternative venue, like I'd either order online or I would go to a recommended black business owned shop. Yeah, and that includes like food as well. And And now my question is,
Yeah.
when they were, when the Chinese were allowed to enter America to like start up restaurants, were they actually given the incentive of going into black communities because the rents would be lower, or the leasehold of the properties where they were based their business on was lower in
Both.
comparison to being in a white neighborhood?
Both.
Okay.
You got when they were coming over, remember the white people over there, they hated everyone who weren't white at that time. Do you get me? So
Yeah.
even though they really hated black people, they didn't like Chinese people being in their area neither. But they were like,
Yeah.
okay, we'd allow you to come over here and be in their neighborhoods. Not in ours. You can set up shop in their neighborhoods. We don't want to see you around in our neighborhood, but you can set up your businesses in their neighborhood. And to be fair, again, they like to use other people to kind of oppress us. So they like the middle class or the people a little bit above us to oppress us, even though they're being oppressed as well. The Chinese were being oppressed, but they were like, well, if you guys help us oppress the black people, then we'll allow you to, set up businesses in there. That's it. Thank you, Sonia. Buffers. They act as the buffers, and they'll they'll kind of give you incentives to set up your businesses in the black neighborhoods, knowing that, you know what I mean, whatever conveyor belt you guys are setting up is not going to benefit the black people. So whatever food you're feeding them or whatever, the money that they're going to make from their business is not going to go back into the black community. They're literally using the conveyor belt strictly for extraction. They're extracting. Yeah.
Oh, right. Just like with the black churches with the tithes and so on.
Whew, man.
Yeah.
The black
Yeah.
churches as well. Well, I
Yeah.
wouldn't say all of them, but yeah, some of them are they're just there to extract. Yeah.
Yeah.
Unfortunately.
Oh, yeah. Hey, and one last thing I just want to mention,
Yes,
but
bro.
this was like on a sort of like personal level where I was acquainted like with a white guy who just suddenly, after a few conversations, he said to me, "Wait a minute, I could imagine your dog, yeah? I'm sure you must like put dreadlocks on your dog."
Gosh.
And I listen, I can't remember what I said to him, but I just thought to myself, it's only a matter of time before I would block him. And a couple of months later, that's exactly what I did.
Yeah.
And I just realized that there's nothing conducive to being in being acquainted with such individuals.
That's it.
Because that's all they do. They stalk you, they analyze you, and another way of them hijacking you is, say, like if you're a manager in a team, before you know it, they're pushing their ideas, trying to override yours.
There you go.
And before you know it, you're being pushed to the side or pushed down the ladder, so to speak. And that's how they take over things.
That's it.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, that's what I just wanted to say.
Thank you, bro. Thank you for that. And last but not least, let's get Chance the D in the building. But I will say, with regards to the conveyor belt, Sis Abimbola, she nailed it on the head. She was saying basically what they're putting on the conveyor belt, yeah, sometimes it's carcinogenic. So you're going into these shops and what they're putting on their conveyor belt, what they're feeding you, their products, not only are they not good for you and not good for your hair or not good for your skin, they're literally carcinogenic. Yeah. Chancellor D, you there, bro? You can unmute your mic.
Yes, greetings, Leon. Yes, yeah, man. How you doing, Sea Antics?
Yes, my bro. How are you, bro?
Yeah, man. I'm Irie. Again, boy. Yeah, man. You're opening up, making us see out of 2, if not 3 of our eyes.
Our
again.
3 of them. Our 3 of them.
Our 3 of them. Yes, yeah. I heard a comment from a brother like still using those terms. Well, one of those terms what I consider we need to kill and bury and dispose of. That term like black people, we can never get nowhere and all that despair.
Yeah.
I would suggest to you to go back to the one of your past podcast, the Rhythm Nation one.
Yeah.
You know, which will give you one of the factors why we as a people have a problem progressing in all walks of life, from education to business, even to family, is because this system is designed to just wear out our melanin. You know, our melanin producing 100%. You know, because the working practice, we don't get time to eat properly, to rest properly, to replenish properly, because of, you know, this is the way the system is set up. That's just one of the main factors, you know. In the workplace is the same thing. They wear us down so that we're not even hearing their little feisty racist comments anymore, because we're more concerned about paying the bills, keeping the roof over our head and stuff, you know. So we get immune to letting things slide and stuff, you know. On the TV, they even making us immune to real compassion, you know. I've never seen nobody's head blown out in real life, apart from on TV. So those little factors is all designed to, the way I see it, to wear down our melanin. Regarding the conveyor belt, I've got a kind of, I don't know, I kind of class it as an ignorant attitude, you know, but someone said, no, not really. It's your ancestors kind of straightening me up. Basically, with the conveyor belt, you can always change your conveyor belt and if there's rubbish on it, you can always kick it off, you know, long as you know that you can, you know, even discard your conveyor belt and make a new one.
Yeah.
You know? So we kind of have.
Remember, it's constantly moving. So let's say there is foolishness on the conveyor belt, that will come off of it at some point because it's constantly moving.
Exactly. Yeah. Yes. Yeah. And as long as we have it in our heads that yes, it's our ball, so to speak. You know, to do what we want with it. You know, as long as you make sure you have that drive to change, you know, the current situation.
Yeah.
Yes. Give thanks, Leon, man. You know, I was gonna call you. You know, let's have to have another little rap on the radio.
Bro, I'll come on your radio show, man. Let's chop it up and let's try and make that happen very soon. Yeah.
Yes, my brother, man. Yeah, man. You know, give thanks again. Man.
Bless up. Yeah. One love. All right, family. Yeah, a lot to take in there. But yeah, when you guys get the replay of this, please share it with your friends and family. They need to know about this stuff. Very important stuff that we're kind of sharing tonight. Yeah, and I'm hoping that everyone got the conveyor belt analogy, because I truly believe that that's culture to me. Like, you can put anything on that conveyor belt, and when we don't own our own culture, now all of a sudden, then people there can put products on the conveyor belt that can lead to cancer, lead to stress, lead to all types of things, your hair falling out, because we don't own our culture. And we've seen it with Tres FM, we've seen it with, you know, these reggae festivals, we see it all the time. And that's the reason why I'm big on doing these community events. I'm big on, you know, from the grassroots, putting on these events. So the next event that we've got coming up is the Hidden Science of Black Hair. Speaking of, you know, the Asian shops and how they try and take over hair products and all that sort of stuff. At this event, you're going to have people putting natural products on the conveyor belt. Do you get me? Products that are not only good for your hair, they're going to be good for your skin. And not only that, not just products that are going to be on the conveyor belt when you come to this event. You're also going to get the education, the right education for your hair. That's going to be put on the conveyor belt when you come to this event. So that's the Hidden Science of Black Hair. That's Saturday, the 4th of April, 2026. Marcio or someone else, if you can put the link in the chat. And that one's going to be huge, family. It's going to be at the Legacy Center of Excellence, which is a Black-owned venue. Do you get me? So think about the amount of people in the community that are going to benefit from this event, from the staff at the Black-owned venue, the Black-owned venue itself. Do you get what I'm saying? And everyone, the store holders. This is what we mean when we talk about a community hub or community ecosystem. Yeah, all the money is going to be getting circulated within this community hub, this community ecosystem, and it's all what I'd say is healthy or holistically healthy for you, the person who's part of the culture. So you're going to learn stuff about your hair that you've never learned before. You're going to learn stuff about your skin that you've never learned before. You're going to learn about different products, and products made by people from the culture, for the culture. Do you get what I'm saying? This is why it's so important for us to do these community events and for the grassroots and for the community to support us. And then the big one, we're talking about reggae today. That was one of the reasons. Again, I've been preying this. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know if it's a gift from the Most High, but I can see through things like the Matrix. So I was seeing this way before Elaine the Pain did her post about, you know, Reggae Land and all that. I was seeing it from way back when, you know, I started to see that we weren't doing all dayers. This was even before I was quote unquote conscious. I was like, rah, what happened to the all dayers, fam? They used to be bad. We used to go to the park and just have fun in the park. Now all of a sudden it's Wireless Festival. Now all of a sudden it's Reggae Land. Now all of a sudden it's all these things that you gotta pay £85 to get in and all types of madness. I was preying it from way back when I was even with the radio stations. Like, rah, what happened to all these bad boy radio stations we used to listen to? Now they're getting taken over by these people. Not only are they getting taken over, now they're putting different music on the conveyor belt. Now they're putting different messages on the conveyor belt. You guys probably don't even realize it, but during COVID, you go onto any of these radio stations, whether it was One Extra or Capital Extra, or dare I say it, some of these pirate radio stations, and you heard COVID adverts on them. You heard COVID adverts and NHS adverts on them. Do you get me? Putting foolishness on our conveyor belt. That's why I'm so passionate about this event, family. So Saturday, the 20th of June, 2026, it's the Hidden Science of Reggae, family. Get your tickets for that. And it is a weekend. If you want to join us for the whole weekend and, you know, be chilling with us from Friday to Sunday in a 5-star hotel. Again, this is a grassroots event. We ain't got no sponsorships, no big conglomerates sponsoring us. Nah, this is us, the grassroots, doing it ourselves. And we got a 5-star hotel at Heathrow, of all places. Do you get what I'm saying? So we got people flying in, and they're going to be flying into Heathrow to come to this event and stay with us at this event. And at the reggae event, this is what we're going to be covering. Think about this on the conveyor belt. This is what you're going to learn. You're going to learn how reggae influenced all popular music genres in the UK. That's all of them, yeah? So reggae over here in the UK got influenced. Music over here in the UK, popular music, got influenced by reggae. Yeah, the untold story of Bob Marley in London. We're gonna go through that. That's a very powerful story of what happened with Bob Marley in London. We're gonna cover that. Why Jamaican cultural appropriation is on the rise. You even saw it tonight in this podcast. You're seeing on Instagram, social media, TikTok, all of these non-melanated people just taking the piss out of Jamaican culture. I look in the comments and I see black people. They may not be Jamaican, they may not associate with our culture or black culture in general, but they fun, LOL, and I'm like, you lot don't understand when people are making a mockery of you and you're there laughing along. You know, when people don't share it with me, but sometimes back in the day, people would share like a video of a white person speaking patois and think that it's funny. A white person talking Jamaican, I think that is funny. I don't find anything funny, rude boy. I find anything disrespectful. I don't find anything funny at all. Yeah. But it's increasing. With social media, it's increasing. You're getting these full Ali G type people on social media and they're getting mad views. And I don't see it with any other culture. I don't see them doing it with any other culture. Yeah. And then we're going to be talking about this one, the deliberate erasure of Caribbean culture on TV. Now, this is something I was preying from a long time ago as well. And now there's evidence of it. Who remembers? Well, look on TV now. I think, was it Paul Hamilton or one of the brothers were talking about what they show on Netflix and all that sort of stuff. They show absolute foolishness when it comes onto Netflix now. When you look at black shows on Netflix, yeah, or Top Boy, even Supercell. I like Supercell, but there's foolishness in it. It's violent and there's stabbings and all that sort of stuff. You don't have to have that stuff in there. When I was growing up, there was a lot of positive black TV shows. You had The Real McCoy, yeah. You had Desmond's. You had shows like this, Blows on Skirt, and all them type of show there, funny and positive We didn't need to see all the violence and put that on the conveyor belt. You don't have to put that on the conveyor belt, yeah? But I could see that there was a deliberate erasure because everyone used to love watching those shows, but for some strange reason, all of a sudden they stopped the shows, and now all of a sudden they stopped the reruns and all them thing there. And it was picked up on in certain podcasts. So check this podcast out where the sis from The Real McCoy, she talks about how them stopping the reruns of The Real McCoy stopped her for getting certain royalties.
Real McCoy, yeah, in terms of like missing out on all that time when we haven't been able to watch the reruns, watch the show again and relive it and feel that. How do you feel about that? Because it's such a staple, it's such an iconic
it's
part of our
it
history.
hurt us. It hurt us physically in the sense of what it could have done for us.
Exactly,
it hurt us financially. Because royalties is a very great thing to live off.
Yeah.
And if you stop that, because you don't see any of our shows. You don't see Empire Row, you don't see Us Girls, you don't see
Brothers and Sisters.
You don't see Get Up, Stand Up, you don't see all the shows that we've been in. Not even on Comedy Gold.
For real.
Because they're all on there, all their shows are there. But our shows are not. And that repeat thing is the biggest theft from us.
Right.
Because we don't get it. And if you hold it for long enough, like The Real McCoy, long enough, there is no repeat.
Yeah.
Jesus.
And it also
Deliberate erasure, and I was preying this from a long time ago. Now I'm hoping the family's starting to realize how important this event is, family. Get your tickets for this event, support the grassroots, you get me? So we can stop with the complaints. If they want to put foolishness on their conveyor belt over there and people want to go to Milton Keynes and, you know what I mean, participate in that conveyor belt, nah, we do our own conveyor belt. You get me? And put proper things on there. So what else are you going to learn when you come to this event? You're going to learn why they've always feared the Rastafarian movement. You're going to learn how roots reggae became the soundtrack for a spiritual revolution. You're going to learn why melanin resonates with reggae in particular and what sounds in reggae activate it. You're going to learn the secret power of low bass frequencies, yeah? And Windrush, the true story that they don't want you to know, yeah? All of that at this one event. Very powerful event. And as you guys know, with the Windrush scandal, it does seem to be a deliberate thing with not only our culture, but our people as well. So this came out a couple of years ago. It says laws created to reduce non-white population in the UK, says long-awaited Windrush report. So again, this is not speculative. This is evidence. You get me? There's been a deliberate attempt to erase our culture, or just make sure that they have full control of the conveyor belt. Do you understand? Because once you've got the conveyor belt, you're feeding the people the products. You're feeding the people the education. You're feeding the people the history. Now, hopefully, the family's starting to understand the importance of this. So yeah, family, in the next couple of weeks, you're gonna see physical flyers out and about. Myself and my team, we're gonna be out at physical events. We're gonna be giving out flyers, family. Make sure you tell your friends, your family, this is the event of the year. This is a grassroots thing. So big up the people who did go to Reggae Land, because I know they've got some great artists. I know Vybz Kartel, I think, is headlining this year. I know there was an uproar because Burna Boy is headlining the Friday or whatever. I don't really have a problem with that, but I know on the Saturday they've got some really good artists. Yeah, if you want to go to that, go to that, but I kind of see through it. I know that they're using them people there. They're probably giving them little money. Do you get me? Other than Vybz Kartel. Vybz Kartel kind of charges a lot. But other than that, all the other artists who are bad boy artists who will probably be performing on the Saturday, they're getting little pence money compared to what the little Irish boys are getting from putting on that event. You know what I mean? And I'm here to just tell the truth. I'm not here to hate on them. Let them go on with whatever they want to go on with. But I know when it comes to my culture, I'm not going to participate on someone else's conveyor belt and allow them to feed me foolishness. Do you understand? I can see through that stuff like the Matrix. So instead of complaining, I put on my own event, the Hidden Science of Reggae. You get me? Grassroots event. We're gonna have Leo Muhammad from The Real McCoy is going to be the host. You understand? We're gonna have celebrities there. We're gonna have comedians there. We're gonna have reggae performances there. And we're gonna have the heavyweights. Myself, Leon Marshall, the scientist, Robin Walker, Andrew Mohammed. Think about what you're going to get fed on that day. You don't even need to think about it. Just watch this video, family.
The Hidden Science of Reggae, 2026. What impact has reggae music had on UK culture? Can melanin be activated by the low bass frequencies in roots reggae? Is the Windrush scandal a deliberate attempt to erase the powerful influence of Caribbean culture from British society? And what really happened to Bob Marley whilst he was in exile in London? All will be revealed at the most mind-blowing, historically informative, culturally relevant event of the last decade. The Hidden Science Academy, in collaboration with Hidden Truth and New Initiatives Catering, presents The Hidden Science of Reggae, Saturday the 20th of June, 2026, from 12 to 8 p.m. at the Radisson Red Hotel, Heathrow. This event is an unbelievable exploration of reggae music, Caribbean culture. Come and experience an educational conference like no other. Speakers dropping the knowledge on the day include Robin Walker, the Black History Man, Andrew Muhammad, the investigator, Leon Marshall, the scientist, Lady Adele, the Hidden Truth Queen, Culture Mark from Black History Study, and some very special guests. This event is not to be missed. Get your early bird tickets today by visiting theinvestigator.org.uk/reggae, or extend this experience by booking a room at our Reggae Weekender, theinvestigator.org.uk/reggae weekender. Let's celebrate our culture like never before. Don't miss out. Get your tickets today.
Event of the year, family. This is how we take back ownership of our own culture. You get me? Let's show them how big we can do it on a grassroots level. Do you understand? No conglomerates, no KFC, no McDonald's sponsoring us. Nah, man, we can do it ourselves. We don't hate, we educate. Do you understand? So yeah, big up everyone for staying right to the end. Thank you, family. I appreciate all the love. I appreciate the support. I appreciate you guys taking time out of your Sunday, your family day to spend here with me. So I appreciate each and every one of you, family. If this is your first time tuning in, we do this each and every Sunday, Marshall's Melanin Podcast, where we drop the truth when it comes onto your melanin and your culture. You understand? So yeah, big up everyone for staying right to the end. Enjoy the rest of your week, family. One love.
Genius. Culture is the conveyor belt. The conveyor belt should deliver products that help advance the people of that culture. If the conveyor belt gets taken over, what products will it deliver? My name is Leon Marshall, and that concludes the end of this podcast. Thank you everyone for being a part of this. You're a part of history, trust me. And just remember, be the light you seek. Just shine, man. More light, more love, more life. One.
Thanks for listening to Marshall's Melanin Podcast. If you like this episode, share it with your friends and family. To watch previous episodes, search Marshall's Melanin Podcast on YouTube. And if you're on Instagram, follow the scientist at Leon Marshall Online. Tune in next week for another explosive episode. And remember, keep shining.